So, good morning class. Today we are going to discuss the Forensic 5, Chapter 2, Part 2. Ito naman mga anak, ay nandito si ma'am sa ating paaralan. Medyo malakas yung mga sounds dito due to mga ginagawang mga buildings. Ay, naririnig nyo, no? So, kahit may mga students din na mga dumadaan. Pagpasensyahan na natin ha, konting tiis lang. Konti lang naman tong part 2 ng chapter 2. Since tapos na natin ma-discuss yung part 1 ng chapter 2, pa-review na lang po uli sa ating video para masundan, ma-recap tayo. So, tatalakayin lang natin dito ang 5 types of liars and understanding the subject. Pag sinabing subject, yun yung ine-examine natin ha. Yung taong i-examine natin sa lie detection technique. And also, the psychopathy and level socialization, the subject pa rin, and other external observable signs and symptoms ng pagsisinungaling, ng lie and deception. Punta tayo sa 5 types of liars. So, hindi lang pala siya 5 types, 11 to. 11 types of liar. So, mali yung nandito ang nakasulat. 11 types of liars. 1 is the panic liars. So, panic liars or panic liar, this is the person na nagpapanik when tinatanong siya. No? Nagpapanik agad, tinatanong pa lang about sa involvement na nangyari sa crime. So, nakikita mo na agad sa kanyang reaction na nagpapanik siya. Kahit yung tanong mo, hindi niya pa nasasagot, nagpapanik na. So, and immediately dinedeny niya yung katotohanan to avoid the shame or humiliation that it might cause to his family. So, yung panic liar, so, from the word itself, panic, nagpapanik ka na. Kasi syempre, tanungin ka lang kung may involvement ka dun sa isang krimen, magpapanik ka. So, tatanggi mo yun para lang hindi ka mapahiya, no? Lalong-lalo na sa pamilya mo. So, they are afraid or embarrassment, no? And they believe that confession will just make the matter the worst. Kung mag-confess pa sila, lalong lalala. So, ide-deny na lang, no? Magpapanik na lang, no? So, next we have the occupational liar. So, occupational, parang trabaho, occupational, ginawa mo ng trabaho yung pagsisinungaling. So, this is an individual whose job, trabaho na, is to tell a lie and deceive others. So, parang, gawain mo na to sa araw-araw, tinrabaho mo na ang pagsisinungaling. So, one who is being paid to tell lies o binabayaran din pala. So, kaya nga occupational, no, trabaho. Meron din binabayaran para magsinungaling ka. So, like na lang sa mga politics, di ba? Siya yung bias mo, siya yung kinakandidato mo. So, magsasabi ka ng mga kasinungalingang about sa kanya na ganito na yung mga nagawa niya. Pero despite wala pa namang nagagawa, So, babayaran ka para lang makapagsabi ng mga kasinungalingan. So, that is an example also. So, they are the one who is being paid to tell lies and they are also the practical liar. Minsan, tinatawag din silang practical liar. So, he will tell a lie if doing it to provides a higher payoff than telling the truth. So, mas mataas pa yung ibabayad pag mas lalo kang nagsisinungaling. Next, we have the tournament o parang laro, tournament liar. So, tournament liar is a person who uses the act of lying to test his ability and prove to him that he can deceive the police or authority. So, parang nilalaro niya lang, no, yung mga person in authority para makapagsinungaling, no? Kung pag tinatanong, kung ano-ano yung isa-segue, i-deceive yung mga nagtatanong, yung mga law enforcement. Next, we have the ethnological. So, parang cultural. Ethnological. Ang ethnological, they are the person trained to lie. So, nag-practice, no, train. May mga ganyan talaga, may mga sobrang bulaan no. Like, kunyari, for example, sa jowa, so, nag-practice ka na kung ano yung mga isasagot mo para pag tinanong ka ng jowa mo, di ka mautal-utal, may ihahanda ka na agad na sagot, no? Ano po? So, ethnological. And they are taught not to be squealer. Okay? Next, we have the psychopathic liar. Psychopathic. Yeah, mga psycho. Psychopathic liar. So, they are the individual who has no conscience or walang konsensya. Thus, capable of lying to the point of causing death to other persons. So, magbubulaan talaga sila kahit may mga naaapekto na, kahit yung degree umaabot na sa kamatayan, So, ganun kalala, pinakamalala to ang psychopathic, kaya nga may mga taong psycho, mga baliw. So, next we have the black liar. Kagaya lang din to ng black lies, mga hypocrites. So, they are the one who enjoys pretending and better known as the hypocrite. So, they are the person who always pretend that he is and what he thinks of himself. So, gaya na lang nung iba, di mo alam kung yabang ba o sinungaling, Kunyari, mga limpak-limpak na daw na pera, mayaman daw siya, ganun. Yung pinapataas niya yung sarili niya, kahit hindi naman totoo. So, sa self, yan, Next, sociopathic. Sociopathic. Di ba pag sinabing socio, parang nakikipag-socialize ka sa bawat tao. So, they are the one who like continuously to get their own way without care or concern for others. So, wala siyang pake kung may nababangga na ba siya sa sinungalingan niya. Basta makuha niya yung goal niya. Okay, magsisinungaling siya kasi meron siyang ini-aim, may mission siya. So, they are also the one, they are the goal-oriented. Mga goal-oriented yung mga yan. Next, we have the compulsive. Compulsive. Alam yung word na compulsive. Compulsive liar. So, someone who continually lies as their habit. Nagiging gawain mo na yun sa araw-araw. Parte na ng araw-araw mo, naging routine mo na. So, it tends to be their normal manner of responding to question. Yung mga pilosopo, yan, kasali din po dyan. So, regardless of how small or big the question is. So, they are also feeling discomfort of being truthful because lying makes them feel right. So, nasasatisfy pala sila kapag nagsisinungaling sila. So, parang pag nagsabi sila ng totoo, yun yung mali sa kanila, yung pagsasabi ng totoo. Okay, next we have the occasional. Alam niyo yung word na occasional, di ba? Minsan, pag tinanong ka, nainom ka ba? Hindi, occasional lang. Minsan lang, So, dito, dahil liar, minsan lang nagsisinungaling. So, they are seldom to tell lie. Minsan lang magsinungaling. And they are quick to ask forgiveness from the individual that they lie to and are often respected for their attempts of being truthful and humility to admit when they commit lies. So, kapag nakapag-commit sila ng lie, takot na agad sila na nagsisinungaling sila. So, manghihingi na din agad-agad sila ng tawad sa pinagsinungalingan nila. So, ganun sila madalang magsinungaling. So, pag nagkamali at nagsinungaling, mabilis din naman silang manghingi ng sorry or pasensya sa kanilang pinagkasinungalingan. Next, pathological. Nabanggit na natin to, yung pathological, di ba? They cannot distinguish the right and wrong due to their sick mind. May sick mind pala, kaya pala hindi ma-distinguish yung right and wrong. Next, we have the white liar. Alam nyo na to, white lies. So, these are those who do not usually think of themselves are true liars. So, nakikita nilang hindi naman yun pagsisinungaling kasi nga may pinrotektahan ka. So, for you, hindi yun pagsisinungaling. Pero, but the other perspective, pagsisinungaling po yun. So, they justify their lies as a harmless and beneficial. So, yung pagsisinungaling nila sa sobrang pag-protect ng relationship is hindi daw yun pagsisinungaling kasi hindi naman yun harmless or nakakapanakit ng iba. Bagkus nagbe-benefit pa kaya sila nagsisinungaling. So they sometimes tell only part of the truth and not suspected of lying at all. So, tapos na tayo sa 11 types of liar. Punta tayo dito sa understanding subject age characteristic. Okay? Understanding subject age characteristic. So, subject factors are often described in the literature as personality or individual difference factor. So, they refer to traits associated with individuals that make them differentiately detectable in polygraph machines. So, understanding this effect should enable determination of the condition under which polygraph testing will yield levels of validity. So, the mechanism by which subject variables affect polygraph examination validity has to do with differential autonomic arousal. So, validity is affected when an interaction results between arousal and polygraph testing. So, next we have the psychopathy and level socialization. So, ito mga definition of terms lang naman to bago tayo tumungo kay subject. Ano po? So, the psychopathy, level of socialization. First, we have the level of socialization. So, one aspect of potential subject effects that has received considerable attention is the effect of level socialization and psychopathy on detectability. So, in a more directly relevant investigation, a group of college students was asked to deceive or not deceive a professional polygraph examiner. So, results indicated the subject who were not detectable were significantly less socialized than those who were detectable. So, highly socialized subjects were more responsive electrodermally. And as a result, several of them were misclassified as deceptive. So, sa level of socialization, depende sa subject or kung sino yung magiging subject mo para ma-detect yung mga psychological response nila. So, kapag daw yung ma-socialized na tao, syempre, mas mapagpawis daw sila and may tendency na mas mag-work yung machine kasi 'di ba kasali yung galvanograph sa skin resistance, nakaka-detect ng mga pawis. So kasali po 'yun, no, magiging isang factor din 'yun para hindi maging reliable ang isang polygraph machine. Next, we have the psychopathy. Psychopathy or psychopathic individuals are not less detectable than psychopathic individuals. So, these individuals who were diagnosed as psychopathic and or low on socialization were more reactive and easily detectable than those not psychopathic and high in socialization. So, sa psychopathic, kapag kayong tao, di ba, hindi normal, syempre hindi yan pwede maging subject. Kasi naman, may mga ibang factor sila like tremor, ayan, yung sa paghinga, even yung paggalaw, no? Dapat stable and fit pagdating sa subject. So, hindi sila pwede maging subject agad-agad kung hindi sila fit. So, other psychopathology. So, guilty psychopaths may escape detection because they are not concerned enough about a misdeed to create interpretable psychological responses. So, minsan, yung other psychopathy, though tanungin sila, may nakakabit na sa kanilang polygraph machine, pwede rin nila yun makontrol kasi wala naman silang pakialam kasi iba yung mind nila eh. No? So, kahit anong tanong mo dyan na related siya dun sa case na yun, hindi siya maapektuhan kasi he cannot control his or her emotion. Kasi wala nga siyang sa pag-iisip. So, wala siyang pake. So, you cannot identify kung nagdi-deceive ba siya or deceiving ba siya. Okay? Or nagsisinungaling. Next, we have the gender. So, gender is One of the most obvious subject difference is gender. So males and females may have different patterns of autonomic arousal, and such difference may affect polygraph testing validity. So, male and female, kaya nga 'di ba yung attachment ng pneumograph magkaiba sa male and female. So, dahil meron tayong breast sa female or may hinaharap tayo, so sa upper abdominal natin nilalagay. So, even yung breathing, no, magkaiba din yung girls and boys. So, gender, isang factor din yan. Next, intelligence. So, intelligence is an additional variable which potentially might affect detectability. So, the ability of intelligent subject to anticipate question may affect polygraph accuracy. So, dito sa intelligence, mga anak, syempre, like, kunyari, sabi ko nga paulit-ulit, kung napag-aralan mo talaga yung polygraph machine, gaya ngayong inaaral natin, may tendency na kaya mo siya makontrol or even magkaroon ka ng masters pagdating ng polygraph, ng lie detection techniques. Pag kinabitan ka ng polygraph machine, so, dahil alam mo yung function ng bawat instrument na nakakabit sa'yo, you can control, kaya mo siyang kontrolin. Kung may sapat kang knowledge and experience, or even ilang beses ka na bang kinabitan, alam mo na kung paano mo makokontrol na hindi ka muna ma-high blood, hindi ka muna magpawis, and kapag related ka sa tanong, syempre, kailangan makontrol mo yung emotions mo, no? And yung pag-iisip mo na, wag kang pumatol, wag kang kung kaya mo talagang makontrol, So, intelligence. Next is the ethnic and group difference. So, another category of subject differences that may affect polygraph validity has to do with ethnic and group differences in physiological response. So, research conducted cross-culturally indicates that there are ethnic difference in response to stress. So, such differences may in turn affect the detection of deception. So, this effect may interact with the ethnic identification of the examiner. However, effect on ethnic differences have not been directly tested with respect polygraph examination. So, sa ethnic and group differences, so even ang subject mo dyan, iba yung culture nila sa culture nyo. Siyempre, may hirapan din tayo mag-detect ng deceiving ba yan or hindi. Kasi naman, yung meron sila sa culture nila is kaiba doon sa magiging proper way ng pagkakandak ng ating lie detection techniques. So, like kunyari na lang, sa mga taga-Baguio, kung yun yung magiging subject natin, 'di ba? Yung sa kanila, sanay sila doon na malamig. 'Di ba may mga ethnic group doon? So, sanay sila na malamig yung kanilang atmosphere. Tapos pag dinala mo siya sa Manila, tapos mainit, tapos pinag-polygraph machine mo, hindi niya masyadong adapt yung ganong weather. So, pagpapawisan talaga yan. So, it may affect also yung electrodermal response sa galvanograph na isa sa tinetest pagdating sa polygraph. Okay po, maaari maging factor din yun. Next is the autonomic liability. Last na to. Autonomic liability. So, regardless of other differences among subjects, there may be consistent individual differences connected with their level of autonomic arousal. So, although there is a considerable variance for an individual in autonomic responses to most physiological measure of autonomic nervous system, arousal electrodermal liability may be different. So, paulit-ulit natin dinidiscuss yung autonomic, no? Yung voluntary sa ating katawan na gumagana. Hindi natin talaga yan makokontrol kung hindi ka naman sapat na merong experience sa pagkontrol ng katawan mo. No? Kaya mo bang kontrolin yung yung pawis mo? 'Di ba hindi? Depende kung kung nasang lugar ka, kung malamig or hindi. Next, tungo na tayo dito sa the subject. So, types and kinds of subject for polygraph tests are, first, the subject whose guilt is definitely or reasonably certain. Next, subject is emotional offender. So, person who commit crimes in the heat of passion, person whose offenses are for accidental in nature. So, kasali yun sa emotional offender. Next, we have the non-emotional. Kung merong emotional, meron din namang non-emotional offender. So, here, sa non-emotional offender, they are the person who commits crimes for financial gain. So, walang halong personalan, perahan lang. Ano po? And next is the subject whose guilt is doubtful. Kung dito definitely or certain reasonably, dito is doubtful or uncertain. So, we have the three general types of subject. Laging tandaan ha, yung victim or yung complainant, pwede rin po yan silang maging subject ha. Next, yung witness, yung nakakita, and the suspect. Usually, laging ang ginagamit pagdating sa pagdedetect ng kasinungalingan, sa suspect. Okay, basta fit sa subject. So, take note lang, all subject must be in a good physical and mental condition before he or she may be submitted for polygraph examination. Next, second to the last, the 7 signs of lies and detection. Okay, ito, may makikita kayo kung nagsisinungaling ba yan sa pamamagitan pag nakita nyo tong 7 signs na to. First is the sweating. Sweating or pagpapawis, siyempre. So, sweating accompanied with the flushed face indicate anger. So, kapag namamawis at yung itsura, namumula, may galit, or embarrassment or extreme nervousness. So, sweating is a pale face, may indicate shock of fear. So, sweating hands also indicate a tension. Okay? Next is the color change. If the face is flushed, it may indicate anger, embarrassment, or shame. A pale face is more common sign of guilt. Tandaan nyo ha, pag nagpa-flush yung face, anger yon, or nahihiya, or shame. Pero pag pale ang face, sign nyo na guilty siya. Okay? Next is the dryness of mouths. So, nervous tension causes reflex inhibition of salivary secretion and consequently dryness of the mouth. This causes continuously swallowing and licking of the lips. So, yung sa sobrang dry na ng labi, dumidila-dila na, So, yan, sign din yon na nagsisinungaling. Next is the excessive activity of Adam's apple. Lalo sa boys, kasi boys lang naman yung may Adam's apple. So, pag gumagalaw yan, up and down, nagsisinungaling. So, on account of the dryness of the throat, kasi dry na yung lalamunan napapalunok na lang So, the subject will swallow the saliva from the mouth. And this causes the frequent upward and downward movement of the Adam's apple. Kasi lumulunok ka. Nakikita sa'yo kung gumagalaw yung Adam's apple mo. Di ba, pag nalunok, nakikita gumagalaw yung Adam's apple. Next, fidgeting. So, alam niyo ba yung fidget na nauso dati? So, a subject constantly moving about in the chair, pulling his ears, rubbing his face, rubbing hair, eyebrows, eyes, biting, snapping of fingernails, they are indicate of the nervous tension. So, pag marami kang ginagawa or fidgeting, sa yung sign na nagsisinungaling. Okay? Next, we have the peculiar feeling inside. So, there are a sensation of lightness of the head and the subject is confused. This is a result of his trouble, conscience. So, nag-iisip ka na kung nakukonsensya ka ba o hindi. Next is swearing in the truth. Usually, a guilty subject frequently utters such expression to make forceful and convincing his assertion of innocence. Next, the spotless past record. Religious man, the subject may assert that it is not possible for him to do. Nothing like that, inasmuch he is a religious man and that he has a spotless record. So, pag spotless record, hindi naman siya kahina-hinala na magsasabi siya ng hindi totoo, lalo nga sa mga religious man. No? So, mahirap ma-detect kung nagsisinungaling or hindi. Paano pag si father yun, no? Next is the inability. Okay? Inability to look investigator straight in the eye or ng examiner. So, the subject does not like to look at the investigator for fear that his guilt may be seen in his eye. He will rather look at the floor or ceiling. So, di ba ganun naman din kahit sa atin, kapag hindi tumingin niya ng diretso sa mata natin, nagsisinungaling yan. Kapag yung mata niya paikot-ikot. Hindi rin pala to 7. Ito ay 10. Last is the not that I remember. Not that I remember expression. So, the subject will resort to the use of not that I remember expression when answering to be evasive or to avoid committing some prejudicial to him. So, laging, hindi ko po natatandaan, hindi ko po alam. Yung mga laging nagsasabi nan pag tinatanong. And last is the other external. Ito naman external ha, nakikita agad. External observable signs and symptoms of lies, deception. First is the stammering, yung pagpapadyak. Next is the swearing to or before God that he did not commit the offense. Yung lang sabi, swear to God, di ko ginawa. Yan, no? O kaya, pointing to his guilt to somebody else. Like yung, hindi naman ako, siya naman yun eh. Si ano nga, si ganito. Yun, kasali yan ha. Next, refuses to answer question through alibis and excuses. Like, kunyari, si CR lang ako, iihi lang ako, pang papahingal lang ako, iinom lang ako ng tubig. So, tinatanong ka na, ang dami mo pang hanash no, kasali din po yun. Next, all the time absent-minded. Siyempre, dahil medyo hindi ka pa nakaka-recover, like, kunyari sa isang crime, medyo absent-minded ka pa, no, hindi ka pa makapagsalita, hindi ka pa compose ng sasabihin mo, no? Next, always requesting for repetition of question. Lagi mo, kahit narinig mo na paulit mo uli para makapag-isip ka pa kung ano yung sasagot mo. Next are the often asked counter question and counter queries. So, imbes na ikaw lang yung sasagot, tinatanong mo din yung nagtatanong sa'yo. Nung magtatanungan na lang kayo, no? So, kasali din po yun. And last is the ask permission to go to the comfort room. All the same sila, no? Nung isang naghahanap ng excuse. Ito naman, for comfort room lagi. So, wag kakalimutan ng other external observable sign and symptoms of lie detection and some signs of lies and detection. The subject and understanding the subject age characteristic, the psychopathy level socialization, and the 11 types of liars. So, yan yung ating part 2 ng chapter 2. So, maunti lang na, hinati natin yun kasi kapag inisahan natin, medyo mahaba. Malilito kayo sa types of lies and types of liars. So, again, thank you and pakinggan uli ang chapter 1 para dire-diretso kayo na mas maintindihan yung chapter.